Imagine gravity pulling a failing aircraft downward, plummeting toward a freezing river, where biological panic is your body's natural default response. In that exact moment of crisis, absolute emotional control is the only currency that buys survival for the lives hanging in the balance. This was the reality on US Airways Flight 1549, serving as a masterclass in what occurs when you make emotions work for you. Captain Chesley Sullenberger represents the proof of what happens when a pilot completely subjugates their emotional responses to dictate a successful outcome. The massive scale of the rescue operation was only made possible by this singular, sustained display of cognitive control in the cockpit. True emotional intelligence functions as an active, life-saving cognitive mechanism required to navigate extreme chaos. We are extracting these lessons from Chapter 2 of Justin Bariso's book EQ Applied, titled Under Control: Training and Honing Your Emotional Abilities. Bariso shatters the common illusion that emotional intelligence is an innate, unchangeable trait that you either possess or you don't. Instead, he defines it as a highly trainable skill set, one that requires intense, deliberate practice to move beyond biological autopilot. If you are accustomed to the surface-level history taught in standard curriculums, welcome to a more systemic perspective here at the Bookish Breakdown. This is the kind of rigorous, framework-driven analysis we prioritize here at the Bookish Breakdown. So if you are committed to mastering your cognitive and emotional life and taking immediate, actionable steps toward your growth, make sure you subscribe and join our community of dedicated learners today. Treating EQ as a rigid trait makes you a victim of your biology, but treating it as a discipline makes you the architect of your reality. The default human state is one of autopilot, where we react blindly to stimuli without investigating how or why we respond the way we do. To break this cycle, the foundational strategy is the Ask and Reflect protocol. The next time you experience an intense emotional reaction, you must force a full cognitive pause afterward to dissect the event. This reflection requires you to identify exactly what you felt in that moment. Next, you must determine exactly why you acted the way you did during the encounter. Finally, you extract objective data from the experience to use for your future behavioral preparation. Without this forced mechanical pause, you remain trapped in a continuous loop of emotional reflexes with zero authority over your outcomes. Pure awareness of an emotion is insufficient if that awareness lacks the precision of language. Consider a medical diagnosis. A doctor cannot treat pain effectively without knowing if that pain is sharp, dull, burning, or gnawing. We often treat our minds with less care, remaining blind to our psychological state by labeling feelings with generic terms like bad or angry. You must learn to translate vague frustration into a precise definition. This granularity allows you to regain cognitive control. Achieving clinical accuracy when naming an emotion unlocks the ability to articulate your exact needs. Because emotions influence behavior, managing your internal narrative through accurate labeling is the only effective way to dictate your external outcomes. A precise emotional vocabulary provides the control mechanism that transitions a practitioner from vague reactivity to targeted behavioral command. Even with high awareness, highly charged moments require a preemptive defense to stop catastrophic responses before they begin. This brings us to a perilous biological phenomenon known as the emotional hijack, where sudden neurological surges overwhelm your cognitive baseline. This is a physiological takeover driven by the amygdala, where you are wired to respond emotionally before the rational brain can intervene. Bariso suggests using a preemptive query during moments of anger. If I don't say this now, will I regret it later? Attempting to suppress emotions entirely is a dangerous error. None of us can achieve flawless, robotic control over our biology. The objective of EQ involves acknowledging and working through feelings to transform raw emotion into calibrated intelligence. When a hijack inevitably occurs and you lose your temper, the failure must be reframed. To move forward, you must strip away the guilt and treat the event as a data-gathering opportunity. Treat the breakdown as a rigorous clinical case study of your own behavior. You must reverse engineer the event, identifying the specific triggers that caused your amygdala to take control. Mapping these triggers allows you to prepare for the next encounter, preventing future breakdowns from exploding into catastrophes. This mirrors an athlete training for a championship. You must schedule dedicated reflection time and practice cognitive interventions until they become second nature. Engaging in physical sports correlates with more successful physiological stress responses, demonstrating that training the body assists the mind in managing pressure. Mastering these precise cognitive concepts serves as the foundation for both personal and professional growth. Your emotions silently influence everything from the career paths you choose to the depth of the relationships you nurture. By meticulously studying your hijacks, deploying precise vocabulary, and utilizing preemptive questioning, you begin to rewire your brain's response patterns. This framework allows you to remain balanced and authoritative, even amidst the chaos of modern life. This transition shifts you from a passenger of your own biology to a deliberate regulator of your emotional outcomes. As you build deeper connections with this new emotional clarity, you will inevitably encounter individuals who understand these exact same principles. These individuals do not use this intelligence for connection, choosing instead to weaponize it for ruthless self-interest and calculated manipulation. How do you protect your mind from exploitation? And what happens when the tools of empathy become weapons of domination? We will uncover the dark side of emotional intelligence and arm you with defensive strategies in the next part of our series.